you doing? Good evening. Tonight's show is going to be the news media show about the News Journal. But before we start off, first thing, my name is Julius Cephas. I'm president of Local 1694-1 at the Port of Wilmington. And again, we have a lot of different unions. We're the warehouse union. But tonight, the show will be dedicated to Johnny Holloway. Johnny Holloway is a good friend. I mean, we had a lot of fun. I looked after Johnny even though he was older. Johnny was like my big brother, but I looked out for Johnny. Also, I just like to tell somebody some of the situation that happened. The situation that happened with me and Johnny. You know, one time, one morning, Johnny, it was about 7:45, and I told Johnny, you know, you messing up, stay on the job, Johnny. Just stay on the job, stop messing up. So around 8 o'clock, 8:05, I was in a meeting, and somebody knocked on the door and said, pulled me out of the meeting and said that Johnny's been arrested. He's over there by Eden Park with the police. So I left the port, went down there to Eden Park, and Johnny was in the back seat, and somebody else was in another back seat. So I talked to the police officer, told him I was the president of the union, and Johnny's one of my guys. And anyway, he let Johnny out. So Johnny got in my car. The young lady was like, what about me? I'm like, I don't know her, don't worry about it. So Johnny got in my car, and I started cussing him out. Johnny started banging on my car window, telling the police officer, come get me. I'd rather be arrested than go here. Be with Julius, come get me. You know, but, you know, again, I mean, me and Johnny, and, you know, he's going to be missed. And to the Holloway family, you know, you have our condolences, but Johnny's going to be missed. And I could tell you many stories, but we looked after Johnny. And, again, so to the Holloway family, again, you have our condolence. And another thing I want to mention before we get started, Hicks Anderson Center, Hicks Anderson Center over there, I think it's 6th and Madison. They got a lot of great things. For the last couple months, I've been under a lot of pressure. So I've been going over there playing ping pong and with Marky D and different people. And anybody want to play a good game of ping pong or pool, come over to West Center City. But what I want to really say is that the programs at Hicks Anderson Center are great. They have tutoring. They teach kids homework. They got a swimming program. They have a gym. They feed kids every night. Some families come. They feed these children every night. Computers. They got a lot of great things. They got very committed workers. Stella, Alexis. You have my buddy Bendel. I grew up with Bendel. Bendel was playing Scrabble with the kids. You got Dougie Pettifor, who got a boxing gym. They have so many good programs at Hicks Anderson Center inside. Sometimes the center gets a bad name, but I know once they come inside, they're protected. My buddy Jackie Stiggers. I mean, they got and I know I'm missing some names, but they got a very good, again, good programs, and we're going to have a ping pong tournament. And I talked to the governor last week. He's going to be involved in this ping pong tournament. I have my man Trippi here. And anybody think they can play, we start normally at 5 p.m. to 8 at night. I mean, and we're rolling, and we're going to get somebody to film us and so it can come on. But again, Hicks Anderson Center got a great programs. But I want to get back to the show tonight. Again, the show was to talk about the media, how the media projects our community, what we're doing wrong, how can we collaborate, make things better. And that's the thing, because a lot of things change, and I have some questions to ask the young man and Trippi, City Councilman Trippi Congo. He's here too, because there were supposed to be some more news journals who didn't show up for, I think, emergency. And the young fella here I'd like to have him to introduce himself and tell him who you are.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. My name is Karin Phillips, engagement editor at the News Journal Delaware Online. I'm over the opinion page on the editorial board. I write columns as well and do editorials. If you open the paper and you see it says Our View, I'm one of the people that writes that. So We take a look at everything from, race, pop culture, sports, even a little bit, education, politics, anything that's news, with a national focus, and especially what's going on in Delaware here.
Okay. And Trippi, you can tell everybody again. We all know who you were, but
Trippi, Congo, and Julius asked me to stick around and just be a part of the conversation, so I want to thank you for that. Looking forward to just learning something and seeing how the conversation goes.
Okay. Now, one of the questions, again, because you're by yourself, okay, how did you become a journalist? What school did you go to? Give me a little background on yourself.
I'm born and raised from Saginaw, Michigan. Went to Morehouse College for undergrad. Got my alumni pin on, so shouts out to the house. Class 2006. Went to grad school at Syracuse University, Newhouse School of Public Communications, one of the best in the country, one of the best in the world. So shout out to Newhouse as well. But really, I got my start in journalism late. When I came down to Morehouse in 2002, I just knew I wanted to be in some form of the media. I had dreams of being in TV and things of like that, and just got involved. I was an African American Studies major. Got involved with organizations like NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists. Their student chapter was on there, and just kind of found my way, different internships, news, radio, TV, things of that matter. And by senior year, I started writing for our school newspaper, the Maroon Tiger. And then once that started, just kind of got my way there. After graduation, was blogging, doing a lot of different things, trying to find my way. Then that's 2008, 2009 is kind of when the journalism industry changed, where you start seeing the first of a lot of layoffs because we weren't prepared for this thing called the internet, to where everything was free. You didn't have to wake up and go and put 25 cents in the machine anymore and pay for the news or get delivered to your home. It was this thing called the internet where they gave it to you for free, so why buy a subscription? Right. And we weren't prepared for that, so we didn't know what to do. And so ever since then, our industry has been trying to play catch up. We're making changes now to try to figure it out and set ourselves up for the future. But 2008, 2009 is kind of when it really started. And I know I was still hungry for it, still wanted to figure out how to do it. And I figured the grad school was the best way, at least let me go to the best journalism school and get the fundamentals to really learn my craft and how to do it. Went there, and then after that was just a lot of internships and freelancing and working and grinding and really learning from a different lot of experiences and whatnot to where I'm here now.
Okay. Now, for our community, also I want our community to understand that DuPont started the News Journal, the family started the News Journal in 1919 because they was having a dispute with other families, and so they started the News Journal in 1919, and in 1978 they sold it to, I think, the Gurnett family. Then they ended up selling it, but that's how the News Journal got started.
Is it? I don't mean to cut you off, Julius, but is it true? You might be able to answer this. Is it true that most of the media publications in the whole country are owned like 3 or 4 different companies? I've seen that. Like you see that every once in a while.
Well, it depends. Like it's kind of like us. We're the News Journal Delaware Online. We're owned by Gannett. We're one of maybe the biggest, but one of the biggest companies. You have McClatchy. You have Cox Media Group. You have the New York Times. You have the Washington Post. And there's one more who I can't think of right now, but there's really, like you said, to be honest, really a couple, 4 or 5 that have gained popularity and enough money to purchase smaller entities.
And they kind of, I guess, you see that every once in a while because it says how they can kind of control the message. Like 3 or 4 companies are controlling like the message that the entire country is reading and listening to. Like I think they own radio stations too.
Well, some media companies own television, print online, like us, and then some own TV as well. Okay. But the thing with that, in terms of owning the message and things of like that, I actually wrote a column about this a couple of months ago, about how people think the media is one uniform family. Like we all have the last name, we all cheer for each other. And what people don't realize is that that's not true at all. I get upset with the media even more than you all do. because I'm a part of it. You know, at the end of the day, I'm a black man. I see things that happen. I'm not happy with it. I'm not excited with the way we're portrayed all the time. But with that, you have to take us as individuals, even though we're a part of a bigger group in a bigger industry, but we're still individuals. While I might be a member of the News Journal Delaware Online, I'm still myself.
Right.
So if you read my columns, if you read my editorials, that's me. That's what I think. That's what I believe. So while I understand why I might be something that you have a problem with or you have a beef, I'm here to tell you that your beef is legitimate, because we do not get it right a lot of the times. But don't believe that there are not black people, white people, Hispanics, gay, lesbian, straight, whatever, yellow, brown, red, green, purple. It's a lot of us in the media who are trying to get it right, but we have a huge hurdle to climb because there's not a lot of diversity in the media, and we're trying to fix that. We're trying to get our voices heard. We're trying to be in those meetings that control the message, so that there are discussions had and maybe some arguments, so that instead of putting something out, we're taking a step back to maybe look at it from a different view before it does, because we do understand that, you know, when you have the pen or the microphone, you do have the biggest voice in the room, and you do have the last word.
Let me say this, and again, to get people, and firstly, let me say this. I appreciate you coming and sitting in the hot seat so much, but I appreciate that now.
I'm not sweating, so you know.
But I am.
I appreciate what you just said. I mean, what you just said was pretty brave and definitely noble of you to say that, knowing that you're part of something that is highly scrutinized, and that you yourself aren't always happy with what you're a part of.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty noble.
And Trippi, you know what's crazy?
Right.
But I'm asking, but I always wonder when I see people, the brothers and sisters on Channel 6 and other news, how do they feel when they see, you know, because you know how we feel.
Right.
So I wonder, but you answer that. But also, what do you think? We're gonna be all over the place, but what do you think about the bloggers? And I remember Norman Oliver used to always firstly, Norman always educate me and school me on things. He used to always talk about blogging, like what? But when the port was trying to be, when they were trying to lease the port, I started reading the bloggers. Now, for people who don't know what the bloggers are, y'all need to check out the bloggers. It's individuals who write, and they to me, they go more depth into the news than the News Journal. How do y'all, first thing I want to say, can you explain the difference between a blogger and a News Journal? And number two is, have the bloggers made y'all change the way y'all do things?
Well, to answer the second question, no. It's two different worlds and two different sets of rules. I used to blog. When you're a blogger, it's you. You have a WordPress site, or you have a laptop or computer, and you're on there typing. And because of the internet, you have free will to say what you want. You can express your views and your opinions. If people like it, they click on it, and you can gain popularity that way. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. Doesn't mean necessarily that it's verified. That it's an actual fact. You can start your own. Trippi starts.
Right.
It's whatever Trippi thinks. That doesn't mean everything you say is factual, but that's just how you feel. And if people like you, you're popular, you're a big-time blogger. I have respect for a lot of bloggers who do it the right way. Some don't. It's a freedom of speech. It's a freedom of oppression. It gives people different views and different voices to a conversation. It's kind of like Twitter. Well, I'm a big fan of Twitter. If you're on Twitter one night when something big is going on, and depending on who you follow, you can get views from the left, views from the middle, and views from the right. And it's up to you to decide who you want to follow, who you want to read more, what you want to take in. With news organizations, everything that we do, for the most part, unless you see something that says op-ed, opinion editorial, or a column. When you get to that level, that's you. You're more like a blogger to the 30th power. You have earned your right to say your opinion and say whatever you want, and that's how you feel, and that's your view. That's why your picture is up there, so we know that you said it. But when a news story comes out, that's based on fact. We've talked to sources. We try to, like I said, sometimes those in the media don't. but you want to get different voices.
Okay, now let me ask first, I want to name some of the bloggers out here for the viewing audience.
Okay.
Delaware Way, Cephas, Kilroy's, and Delaware Liberal. Again, and for me, especially Kilroy's and Cephas, all of them played a big, and Nancy Wellington, they played a big part in the port being sold. And then, to be honest with you, I must say, and I got to give this credit to John Sweeney. I wish he was there. He's an editorial. He was very fair in the way he did things, and our community owed him a lot because I do not think we would have won without him. And when I was writing things, I had people tell me he won't print it. He won't print it. They printed it, and he let the general public. He wasn't on my side, but he let the public decide who was right. And John Sweeney, I wish, excuse me, I wish he was here because he did a great job. I think he's been with the News Journal 50 years. Lot of respect. What's the other one's name? Jeff Montgomery, who covered the port, deals with all the facts. Great job. And I hope these guys stay around to teach, you younger guys and ladies how to do things. But I just want our community to start checking into the blogs, reading the blogs. And again, like you said, create your own. And sometime, excuse me, sometime I remember when the port, we was going through it, and my wife came home one time and somebody had an opinion section. She said, do something, fix this. And the point she was making, don't let nobody tell your story and you expect to win. You tell your own story. And I never forget it. So now, one of the reasons too is, again, you kind of explained it about the coverage of African American community. Now, we had a sickle cell race, and we do a lot of positive things in the community. As you know, I mean, you're a very polished young man, so you had to have serious positive things in your life. The way you're sitting here right now. We had 600-something people at the sickle cell race. Nice, beautiful. We don't get coverage. Somebody gets shot, they're there. And one of the problems I have, concerns, is that from an economical standpoint, if 600 people are out there and you're taking pictures, 300 at least gonna buy the paper to see if there are pictures in the paper. You're gonna make money. I mean, and then again, how do we get the News Journal, and what can we do to get the News Journal to see us as regular people?
I would say the first thing would be to reach out. And that's the thing that I'm going to start doing more in the community. I'm new to the state. Like I said, I got here in January. I don't know everyone. I don't know everything, but I'm trying to learn more and more every day. So I apologize if I haven't done that. But to reach out to us, tweet us, email us, call us, let us know that events are going on. That way the onus is on us. Because you can't say we haven't covered something if we don't know about it. Because in that way we didn't know. But if you keep telling us, then that's up to us. Then, let us drop the ball on that. And
people can contact you directly?
Yeah, contact us directly. Any of the editors, call to the News Journal.
Like you, yourself, or?
Myself.
Okay.
We can direct you to the right editor or reporter that's recovering. All right. Or, just let us know, period, as a company, as a newsroom, what's going on. And then to the second question, what a lot of people don't realize is that the audience, who we call it readers, dictate what we cover. So like you said, while 600 people might not went out and did something positive in the community, and then you see a shooting on the front page. But from our standpoint, the way the internet is now, a lot of our stuff is, we look at our numbers, what stories got the most hits? Because if a story gets a certain amount of hits, that means people are starting to read it. So if it doesn't mean if it's sports or if it's entertainment or if it's music, people like this, let's look into this and give the audience what they want. And so if this happened over a weekend and on Monday or Tuesday we're sitting in the meeting in the story where 600 people came out in community got 200 hits. But the story where somebody got shot got 2,000. So what does that tell us?
Do you think that we can ever get to a point where we can reverse that? I guess that fact. That onus is on us. That onus is on like the public, on the readers.
I think that's on everybody, because I mean, even us in the media, like we're part of the public too. Like I read the news as well.
Right.
I like to be entertained. I pick up the newspaper every morning when I come into work. But even as a society, as a people, we look at the movies we watch, look at the music we listen to, look at the TV shows. We like when stuff blows up. We like action. We like entertainment. And I think sometimes we get too caught up in that, or we don't cover good news, or a murder or a shooting gets on the front page.
You just said something that was real powerful that might have slipped by us. You said something that was real powerful, and I never even thought about it like that. You get 2,000 hits from the shooting. The sickle cell race, you might get 10 or 15. Couple hundred. Now, and that's strong, so I want our community to understand that. But let me give you, I want Ivan to show this clip. Ivan, can you show the clip about the doctor? And then I'm going to ask you something after Ivan shows this clip.
Funny how the media covers White Riot.
Okay, that's the one. All right, tell him to come back. Okay, now that clip, there was a murder. That lady was a doctor who was killed, physician. For me, it was uncomfortable because they had her in basically a baby suit, of braids. She was at the beach. It made it look like there was something else that could have been going on. This woman, she should have been in her white jacket, boom. It made it look to me, it was too subjective. This is a doctor who didn't have nothing to do besides a professional relationship. And that's what, okay, you can come back. Excuse me. Like, can some of the reporters or people who are doing this be more sensitive? Because to me, that wasn't the right picture to show this lady, this doctor who's been killed from one of her patients, in her at the beach with her braids on, with her braids in her hair, with her sunglasses. You know what I mean? I don't see no sensitivity in that.
I understand what you're saying. You're more speaking to the images that are shown in the media in terms of showing this doctor in her white jacket in her workplace instead of a random picture of her
at the beach,
relaxing on the beach. It kind of takes away her status of what she's earned and what she is in life, and that's understandable. But I would say to that is, would you see that on TV or did you see that in the newspaper?
That was in the newspaper today.
Okay.
You know, the TV, the news, Action News showed her dressed very professionally. That was matter of fact, that was in Sunday's. That's in Sunday's paper. That's in Sunday's paper today.
Okay.
And it hurt. It hurt. I mean, just enough that she would happen is bad enough. But you don't say it. It's just, you know, and you know, all of us know as African Americans, even on the news when, and I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm gonna say it. They find the craziest person when something happens with the curlers in their head, 4 or 5 teeth missing, the stocking cap, and the brother and sister come up there talking intelligent. Yes, this happened. Yes. Nah, not him. And you know, that's the one we see. I mean, and you know, it's the image, because we're like every other race. I just don't want them to take this one person and paintbrush us all the same, and we're all different.
And yeah, that picture is it's misleading, if you ask me. I mean, the lady was a professional, like you said. She was a professional who should have been portrayed in her professional image. And that picture almost seems like they want you to think that there was some type of relationship.
Yeah.
And that's very unfair. To her and her family, to even put it out there like that. And, and that's something that I think really needs to be addressed. I'm not sure who's responsible for that, but that's something that can't be just looked over. That's pretty serious. And I guess for that reason, a lot of other reasons, honestly, I don't even read the newspaper, the news journal anymore. I just got so tired of picking it up and seeing so much negativity. And I just know that this city is so much more than that. But, to your point, it is what sells. I know the news journal is a business. They have to make money. But there has to be some type of balance where they're covering the homicides, but they're also covering like the great things that are happening in our city.
Right.
There has to be some type of balance. I think it's just so unfair that that's all that we see. Well, that's the majority. I'm not going to say that's all, but that's most of what we see. It's just, and I know it sells, and like you said, we like to see stuff blow up. The TV shows that we watch, like everybody loves. What's the show? Empire.
But you know what? And to your point, Trippi, it's not done on the other side the same way. Certain other races are portrayed a lot more wholesome than we are. Again, and we're all different. We all got different backgrounds, and we only get one image gets to be seen with us,
Right.
And that's the problem. Like I said, that we have. We're all different. I mean, we have our arguments and our disagreements, and we think differently. We got blacks and Republicans. You got independents. We're a variety of different people in our thoughts and the way we do things, but it's only one image that is portrayed. And but it's not done for that with everyone else. Like I said again, West Center City, man. I go inside there. My man Bendel, he's playing Scrabble with these kids. I mean, they got Tudor, Stella. It's so many good things. And again, to your point, we need to maybe make. And you said something earlier, Trippi, that on your show that we got to start making a little bit more noise. And if people want our business, we have to make them earn it. And again, I'm proud of you, young brother. I just want you to know that right now.
I appreciate it. It's kind of like you said, making noise. I used to be a bartender a while back, right? And getting yourself heard, it's kind of like being at a busy bar and you want something to drink. The person at the end of the bar just doing this, you ain't getting my attention.
Right.
The dude that's waving his money, you're going to get your drink first. So, I mean, from your standpoint, you just as thirsty as he is.
Right.
But somebody wants it more. With anything in life, if you want it more, you're going to get it first because you're working harder to get it. Now, from our standpoint at the News Journal, I'm not going to sit up here and say we do everything right because we don't. But at the same time, I know we are working on things. We have new beats, and we're trying to change some things to spotlight some of the positivity in the community. But like you said, we need you all to be a little louder so that we are more informed.
Okay,
And I think it's important too.
Put the number up, phone number. Go ahead, Trippi. I'm
I
sorry.
think
Put the
it's
phone number.
important,
Don't worry about it.
like you said, we have to realize almost what we're doing. Like when we're clicking on those links and we're sharing those links that talks about all the homicides and the shootings, like what we're doing. Like we're telling the news journal, we want to see more of this.
Right.
We want to read more of this, so we can't really get frustrated. Like the show, I don't know if it's Power or Empire, but I've never seen either one. But someone said, just look for one positive black role. I don't know which show it was, but they said there are no positive black roles in one of those shows. I'm not sure because I don't watch it. But you figure people go crazy when Empire and Power come on. And what's that telling the media? That we want to continue to see those kind of shows. So we gotta kind of hold ourselves accountable too. Like if we don't want the News Journal to put all these homicides on the front page, like stop clicking on them on Facebook and stop sharing them, and they'll see that's it. So they will, and start sharing and start clicking on the positive stories, and so we send a different message to the News Journal. Is that right?
Yeah, but to your point about TV shows, I watch Power, I watch Empire. I would say there are some positive images on there, but I also understand that it's entertainment. I remember a couple of years ago when black people, we were upset with BET. BET doesn't do anything positive. Well, I understood that the E in BET was for entertainment. BET wasn't built to educate me. It was built to entertain me. So I always understood that.
But I guess I don't know.
Hold
That's
on for
true,
a second.
But I think that everybody hasn't had the opportunity that we have to be able to look at it only as entertainment. Like some people see that as real life. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to be that person. Like we see it and we wake up and we go to sleep and wake up to our jobs and our families, and we wake up to I think a whole different thought pattern, where some younger people or even people our age and older may see it, and I think they might just see it in a totally different light, and they think that's real, and they want to emulate that.
Okay, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, Julius. This is Josie.
How you doing, Josie?
Enjoying your program this evening. I'm so glad that you have the gentleman on there concerning the News Journal. I was listening to what he said, and he was saying that people should notify them or to make sure that someone knows when a specific event is going to take place. So I guess that they will be there. Not long ago, on September the 12th, I had a historical marketplace at a church that was over 150 years in Old Newcastle. The News Journal came out. There was a gentleman by the name of Chris. Came and he videoed the whole program, the event and all, and they never put that in the paper. There was elected officials there. It was a great event because of the history of the church, Mount Salem Church in Old Newcastle. On that next day, when I looked in the paper, there was, as you say, all the negativity. Someone had been murdered in the city of Wilmington, but instead of something as positive as that historical marker was, the murder was plastered on the paper the next day. I called the News Journal for 2 weeks. They promised me that they would put that article in the paper, and they never did. Then they wanted to take and put an article in the paper along with when the YMCA also had a historical marker placed in Wilmington, and put them together. And I explained to them that that was not right because these were two separate events. So why would you hook up Old Newcastle historical marker with the YMCA when they were two different events and they were totally different? So I had some concern myself with the News Journal, the way they do things, and I think something needs to be done. And I'm so glad that you're having this program here tonight so people can understand that exactly what happens, because we see all the negative, but we never get the positive that's going on.
Okay.
Not only in Wilmington, but there's plenty going on in Old Newcastle and throughout Newcastle County. So thank you, Julius, for taking my call.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So, I mean, I don't want to,
I can handle it.
okay.
I'm not familiar for what you talk about, and if she feels some type of way, ma'am, I apologize for that. But there's this thing, and I don't know if you want to grab
Go ahead,
that.
go ahead.
There's this thing.
Hold on for a second.
To where, and this just doesn't happen with the news. Well, first, let me say that there's a difference between what you see on TV and what you read in the paper and what you read online and the radio. A lot of people, they see something on TV, but they blame us. Well, you know what? We don't have anything to do with what happens on TV. Take us as our separate entities, even though you can label us all as the media. But I don't know what happened with that situation. Sometimes when news breaks and it's a big story, we have to provide the news that's for the masses. Okay. Now, if you're from a small section or a different group of people, this plaque may be the biggest news you all have had all year. But that could be just 400 people. If we're the biggest news group in the state, so we have to provide news that's going to be big news for the state. Okay. And sometimes things happen, and unfortunately that does.
Okay. Go ahead with your question. You on the air?
Yes, how you doing, Julius? This is Sam calling.
Hey,
Hello,
Sam, how you doing?
Hey,
and hello to your guest. I've had a long relationship, good and bad, with the News Journal. But there's 2 points I want to make. When he first arrived here in January, I'd like for him to share with us who it was that the people who ran the News Journal, who are the black people that they told him you need to go see A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Because usually when somebody comes in a position such as yours, that's what they do. So who did they tell you, you just gotta go meet such and such? And then the other question I have for you is, have you ever been in a community an oppressed community like ours that had our own television station, so we really don't need the newspaper to tell our story. Have you ever encountered that before?
Okay, I'm gonna let him answer the question. Thank you, Sam. Now, Sam Guy used to be former city councilman. He works with the county. One of the smartest guys. Got more degrees than I got laces. I'm talking about master's degrees. He's a very on the top of his game. So, but go ahead.
Okay. Over to his first question. I got here in January, but I came here as a sports writer. So I didn't move over to this, I didn't get promoted or moved over to this position, to the opinion page or editorial desk editor until June. So with that, with some traveling I had in the summer, this is really only my 4th month here. New state, I haven't been here a year. So while I've met a couple people, I haven't met everyone I'm supposed to meet yet. I asked to give me some time. I'm still new to the area, new to the state, pretty new to news as well. I had an extensive background in sports, so all of this has been coming at me fast, but I've been trying to handle it as best as I could. And secondly,
I don't want to cut you off, but I don't think he was putting that burden on you. I think Mr. Guy was trying to see if the News Journal, if they were being fair in trying to, since you're in this position, and trying to make sure that you're successful, and did they point you in the right direction as far as you got to go see this person, and this person in the African American community? Like, he wasn't putting that on you. He was putting it on the News Journal, saying did they prepare
Hold on
you
for a
to
second.
be successful?
Okay.
I've met a couple people. I know one of the first people I met, we had this big meeting down Delaware State in Delaware, B.B. Coker.
Okay.
Their board of trustees at Delaware State, me being an HBCU alum. That was a very good meeting. Here tonight, even though some people might not think that's a lot, I think this is a great chance for me to put my face out so people can contact me as well. There have been some other names. I'm drawing a blank right now with some of the IMAC pastors as well, though. So
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I would like to answer his second question
Go
as well,
ahead.
too.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
About being from a city like this. Well, to him, well, sir, I'm from Saginaw, Michigan. Do the research, Google us. I believe the latest most dangerous cities list just came out a couple weeks ago. We are proud that we're 4th now instead of 3rd. For all of my life, I've lived in, had fun in the cities of Saginaw, Flint, which is up the street, Detroit, and spent 8 years in Atlanta. So in terms of coming to Wilmington and being a community like this, trust me, I've been in places worse than Wilmington. So you all have it good, because I look at the numbers of shootings that we put in the newspaper. I remember being at home and we had 8 shootings in 8 weeks one time. There was a 5-year period from 2003 to 2008 where Saginaw was listed by the FBI as the #1 most dangerous city in the country, period. So this doesn't bother me. I understand where I am. I understand it can get worse.
You, but you see
I'm
worse.
saying
Right,
it can get worse and it can get a lot better. So I am used to this. I've been experiencing this. I've been raised in this.
Okay.
And I think Mr. Guy was talking about, because we're kind of unique in that we do have this
TV,
TV station,
right.
local TV station.
We had one too back
Did
then.
you? Okay, that's I think he
All right.
you had
You
one too. Okay.
You on the air? You on the air? Sorry. Go ahead.
Hi, Jules. This is Lonnie Evers calling.
How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. You know, I have. Yeah.
Turn your TV down in the background because you get the delay.
You know, I have a real concern about the News Journal, and it's not reporting some important events that involve, positive things. Like September was National Recovery Month, and we had a big rally here in Wilmington that had attracted almost 400 people, and a press release was sent to the News Journal. There was nothing written about the Recovery Month or the rally. An article was submitted about the rally and Recovery Month, and a letter was submitted as well. And nothing was reported. And I'm really concerned about that. So much reported about drug-related crime and violence and the deaths and what have you. But the Recovery Month, it talks about people who are recovering from drug addiction, alcoholism, and mental illness. And I think that's as important as it is to report about the crime that's happening in the community.
Yeah.
But remember, those people in recovery are taken out of that arena involving those who are abusing drugs, and some of those who are selling drugs are addicts as well.
Okay.
So I was wondering if the News Journal reporter might have commented about that.
Okay,
I have to send another letter expressing my concern, and maybe this time around it will be reported, because people need to know that people are recovering.
Okay, thank you. We'll give him a chance to answer it. Thank you.
I like to
Thank you.
talk about it if I can.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
All right, Trippi wants to, go ahead, Trippi.
I think that it's important that he's in the room.
Right.
Not in this room, but at the News Journal, so that that he's hearing our sentiment here in Wilmington, so that he can maybe get to a position or talk to people who are in the position to make those kind of things happen. Like, I'm not sure if he's in that. He might be. I'm not sure if he's in that position. We need to have the person here who is making those calls of what's going to make it and what's not. And if he's not that person, I'm glad that he has his foot in the door,
Right.
And that he's sincere. I mean, I just met him, but he seems like he's a sincere young brother, and that I think he's a gold mine for us.
I think so too.
Right. So
I'm
that
proud
he can,
of him. I'm happy he's here.
So that we can get our stories heard.
And I gotta say, I used to be a boxer. He got heart.
Yeah, you do. I mean,
you got heart, brother. Because he had a chance to. He was waiting for some people to come. He had a chance to bail out, and I kept watching him like lock the door on anymore. But I'm gonna take a call because these phones is blowing up. Okay. Hello, you on the air?
Yes, thanks for taking the call, and it's a good dialogue that you guys are having. My family subscribed to the News Journal for a number of years. I'm 50 years old, and when I was a kid, they were with the morning news, etc. But I'll tell you why we unsubscribed. It became so frustrating to see the negativity, as has been talked about earlier. And not only that, when you would see a story, and I think a lot of the hits that were referred to that determine whether a story has legs or not is because it's from people who don't even live in Wilmington, but they get a kick out of watching the negativity occur in the community. They're not invested in the community, etc., but yet and still they're rated as top commenters on the comment section. And the unchecked racism was appalling to me. And I said, I'm not going to pay to read this stuff. If I come across a story and it's free, I'll read the story, but I'm not going to pay for that. And I am thankful that we do have television media that we can get information from, because without it, it would be even a greater vacuum. So thank you for taking the call.
Thank you, Mike, and I think you're a positive brother, and like I told you before, you bring happiness and sunshine wherever you go. Thanks, Mike. Okay. Now, Mike is the guy, he hosts his own show at 7 o'clock. And again, man,
Now, to answer this question, he said something that I've heard you even mention it, that is understandable, yet problematic. I understand why you stop subscribing. I understand why he stopped subscribing. But he said something important. He said he started seeing top commenters and other people outside the community, click on stuff so that the story got hits. But those people probably subscribe. Those people comment. So there's a problem to where you don't support something.
hold on.
And you don't comment on it. And the ones that do, you have different views on it. So if you want your voice heard, subscribe.
Right.
If you want your voice heard, comment.
Right.
Be that voice. You can't not support something but then complain about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
you do have to, go ahead.
Go ahead, Trippi. No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
That's true. You have a good point, and I think that you do have to be like in a part. You have to be in a room. Like we do have to be in a room to enable to be heard. So I mean, what you're saying, that does make sense.
Yeah. Go ahead. You on the air?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I would like to ask a question to the gentleman from the News Journal.
Who am I speaking with first?
Okay. James D. Lodge is aunt.
Okay.
That was murdered at 4th and Washington.
Okay.
Okay. He was a mentor, right?
Yes.
All right, now. I want to ask, okay, like with black people, they always put the negativity in, But with him not being in any trouble or anything and all, you never heard anything about him being a mentor, working for Kingswoods, and being a mentor down in Hicks Anderson's. Can you tell me why? It's always negative with people, but not positive with the black or the people of color.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, babe.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye. Okay. And, you know, what you're hearing again is a lot of good people in our community who are doing great things, and we don't seem to get. I'll let you go. You heard it.
First of all, ma'am, I want to, send my condolences and apologize for your loss. Never want to, hear about anyone passing, especially another one of our young brothers who sounds like, he was trying to make a change in the community,
definitely was.
and that's always sad. I wasn't aware of it, and that's another thing I would like to speak to sometimes. Things happen. And when things happen that you're connected to or you're emotionally invested to, it means a lot to you. I'm not saying that it doesn't mean a lot to someone else, but it's closer to you. You feel it. You go to bed with that every night. You wake up with it every morning. Now, to the person next to you, the person you sit next to at work, may not mean something to them. They may say sorry for your loss, but it doesn't affect you the same way. And sometimes we have to step out of that. Once again, like I'm not saying that we do everything right at work. We don't, but we're trying. We're trying to get better. Right. And a lot of times stuff happens.
Hold on for a second.
You all just do this, and people sometimes get impulsive, or they get lost in the moment. And you look at the paper on a Tuesday and see what's on the front cover, but look at it about a quarter. Compare that to the positive, to the negative stories on the front cover by the quarter. Look at it by the year. How many stories is on the front page that were positive or negative by the year, and compare them. Because sometimes we just get lost in that moment, and a big story might be happening, and it might be negative, and it could be 4 days of coverage. But the 4 days of positive stuff could be 2 weeks later, but you just didn't pay attention.
Okay, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hey, Julius, this is the mayor from the east side.
How you doing?
I'm fine. We're going to have a break ground between 8th and 9th. They're going to break ground between 8th and 9th. I would like for the gentleman to come down on Tuesday between 8th and 9th on Bennett Street to give us a good write-up about the 8 houses and 7 houses they're going to build on Bennett Street. They're going to break ground Tuesday.
Okay, he heard you. All right, thank you. Okay. One of the things too, you heard it. Okay. One of the things also too is that the paper today looks like USA Today. Is that, did they buy it or?
No, we're owned by the same company, but Gannett owns USA Today. And if you get it every day, there's a section, a smaller version of USA Today that's a part of the insert in it.
Hello, you on the air?
Hey, Jill, I want to commend you for the fantastic program you're having tonight, and thank you on behalf of the Highway family, too, for all that you did for Johnny, man. You really hung in with him over the years and supported him in some very down moments, and I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, yes.
I want to say also to Trippi and to anybody else, and I agree with all this being said, but there are 2 very important stories in the News Journal today. One is in reference to the meeting that Chief Justice Leon Strine is calling on the 22nd about the disparity in the amounts, Trippi, that you talked about on your show with the prison system. And that's a very positive. We don't get this News Journal and check it. We don't know nothing about these things.
Hey, Herman,
yeah.
He's winding me. Can you just get to the question? Because he's starting to wind me down.
Well, I was just calling to make a comment. I think we need to look at News Journal to find out exactly what's going on. Reverend Beeman and them touched on it again, on Trippi's show.
Right.
Hey,
okay, thank you. Also is that, let me just say this, because we're winding down. I'm going to give it to you, Trippi, then I'm going to pass it to you, then I'll finish up with it. So go ahead, Trippi. Go ahead, make a comment.
I don't know. I guess I'm glad to hear where you are. Congratulations. I definitely want to, connect with you, just so I can make sure that you're as successful as I can help you to be. I'm gonna welcome you with open arms. I know that it's wrong that I don't read the news journal, but I was just being honest and saying why I stopped, because I was just getting frustrated
No, I appreciate that.
Right,
We need to hear
right. But at the same time, I know that that's wrong because I know I'm missing some good stuff in there at the same time. So I know I do need to read it, but I think that there just has to be some type of balance. And I just want to be a part of us getting to that place where we just see the fairness in the News Journal. And I know that we're a part of that. Happening also.
He's telling me to wrap up, so I'm gonna give you 1 minute. 10 seconds. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
First of all, I just want to thank you all for having me, having this platform. Like I said, I'm new to the area, I'm new to the state. I've been in situations like this and unfortunately worse, but we are trying to make a difference in the community. We hear the concerns, we hear the backlash, we understand what's happened in the past. We just ask you give us an opportunity to try to make up for it in the future.
Okay, let me just say, again, I'm proud that you're here, and I feel like we got hope, and you bring hope. You're a strong young brother, and I like it, and something positive. And again, I'm proud. Anything I can do to help you, I will be here for you, all right? Thank you, everybody, and good night, and we'll see you in 3 weeks.
Funny how the media covers white riots versus black.
People moving out, people moving in. Why? Because of the color of their skin. Run, 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 but you sure can't hide.